maybe try to justify it as I did the same thing with my brother. But then Melissa said, well, did you do it like the way Teresa did it, or did you do it privately? To which Danielle responded, I did it privately. So then it was pretty much the end of that conversation. And it seemed to me that Danielle agreed. She didn't say anything, but it seemed like she agreed with Melissa, because it's true. This is not something that you do while you have an audience. That's something that you should do in private with your brother. So if you guys really pay attention, that scene at the shop or the healing center or chakra center, I don't know what to call it, but if you really pay attention to Teresa and Dolores' faces, you know, Jennifer starts, like, she really goes in on Danielle, and she starts talking about the step and repeat, and she's like, oh, you know, she didn't put Bill Aydin plastic surgery on the step and repeat. And honestly, I don't know what Jen's problem is when it comes to that step and repeat, but I was so happy that Dolores called it out, because Dolores said, no, it has nothing to do with the step and repeat. I think that Jennifer is just making a big deal out of nothing. She just simply does not like Danielle. And if you look at Dolores' face and Teresa's face, even Teresa, she does not understand where Jenn is coming from with this whole like step and repeat thing. It really seems like Jenn is trying to look for an excuse to not like Danielle, and she's using that, the step and repeat, as the reason why not to like Danielle, right? But you can tell that Teresa's confused by it, because Teresa's like, what's your problem with Danielle? Like, I thought we liked her. Like, yeah, okay, the thing with Lena, but what's the issue? Like, why are you making such a big deal about that? You could clearly see it in her face, on her face. And then the same thing goes for Dolores. Dolores actually just says it. She's like, yeah, I don't believe that that's what it is. I think she just doesn't like the girl. But guys, I did say something to you a few weeks ago, and I said, keep in mind that Lena does Laura Lee Jensen's hair. I did say that, and I didn't say any more. And then last week, while Danielle was talking to Jenn, Danielle brought up Laura Lee Jensen's name during that conversation. So I'm just gonna say, guys, it is not by accident that her name was dropped during that conversation. And if I had to make an educated guess, I would tell you that Jennifer Aydin's problem with Danielle stems from Laura Lee Jensen. I can pretty much guarantee that this is what the problem is. And I have a feeling that Danielle is aware of something that Jennifer did that involves Laura. And maybe Danielle knows a little bit too much and knows that Jenn Aydin's hands are full of grease. And Jenn is a little nervous because Danielle is not Teresa. You know what I mean? She's not Teresa. And maybe Danielle knows a little too much. And you have to keep in mind that I don't think that Laura Lee Jensen and Jennifer Aydin have a close relationship anymore. I don't think they're friends anymore, if you know what I mean, right? So I think Jennifer is being very nervous around Danielle and what she knows. And she's afraid that Danielle might expose her and her wrongdoings behind the scenes. And what Jennifer is doing right now, I think she's trying to discredit Danielle in front of the audience, in front of her friends. She's trying to make her look like she's a deadbeat person, a deadbeat friend. So maybe in hopes that nobody ends up believing her when Danielle decides to speak out on what she knows. But I'm telling you, it has absolutely nothing to do with the step and repeat. At the end of the day, it's kind of stupid that Jennifer's again making it all about her and her husband. It's like, you are on a reality TV show. You are given a huge platform. If people did not know who Bill Aydin was prior to the show, prior to doing Housewives, people know now. does he really need a little step and repeat at Danielle's like little charity event? Like, it sounds so stupid for Jennifer to even request that, especially if Bill didn't do anything for the charity. I'm just saying, like, most people do donate their time and give a little bit of money, but to usually make it on a step and repeat, you have to do a little bit more than that, right? Not just buy your ticket and give a donation. So I think Jennifer is being very harsh, and it's not really, she's not really being a woman's woman by doing that, because at the end of the day, that was Danielle's first season, whether you like her or not. It was her first season. It's possible that she did not know how everything works. And instead of just trying to make her look like a bad person, she could have just educated her and just said, hey, you know what, next time, girlfriend, like, I suggest that you do this and you do that and you do this and you do that. Like, what happened to showing your girl the way? Instead, she is just taking a page out of Teresa's book and she's making it about herself. And the reason why I'm saying this, guys, is because it is truly a page out of Teresa's book. If you recall, the last season that Kim D was on, Kim D was having a posh fundraiser. And I'm going to play the little clip for you guys, okay? Just to refresh your memory. So here it is.
In that fundraiser, and it caused a lot of trouble within your friend group. So was it worth it?
Yes.
Yes.
That was a fundraiser for 2 people that were murdered. As a matter of fact, that kid's mother just DM'd me and said, I want to thank you because it was so kind of you to help me raise money. So I don't want to have to explain it anymore, but I felt very loyal to Teresa when I told Kim D, I'm leaving here and I'm going to tell Teresa what you're saying because I want her to know where it's coming from.
All I can say is, do not talk about Melissa and Teresa in my presence.
That's
But
what
she does every time she's in your presence.
yell.
No, she doesn't.
She does.
Whatever.
Teresa, you went from friend of Kim D to foe. Do you have any words of wisdom for Dolores and Siggy?
They see her track record.
No, they say your track record. You're the one who goes through friends like underwear, honey. I have friends since I was 8 years old. You have no friends.
How long have I been Dolores' friend?
Well, that's
how
shaky.
long?
That's shaky.
How long?
That's shaky.
No,
Dolores, is
it's
that
not.
shady?
Well, maybe from the way
You're
I
gonna let
see
her
it.
say that, right?
I
Well,
just said no,
the way
it's
I
not.
see it,
You're
Tell
gonna
her.
say.
Tell
The
her
way I
right to
see
her
it.
face.
No.
Tell her.
No, she's my friend. I'm her friend.
Tell
Hold
her.
on 1 second. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah,
Can I ask my
everybody's
question?
gonna
Put
straighten
your
me
foot
out.
right in your
Everybody's
mouth.
gonna straighten me out.
Yeah, because when you talk out of your ass.
No, you
Okay,
talk
I'm
out
going
of
to
your
talk
ass.
out of my
Yeah,
ass. Okay, here's my question.
That's
Okay,
too bad.
excuse me.
They're the ones that
Excuse
walked in.
me.
They
Hey,
thought you
listen,
were
and
doing
they get
something
money and they
wonderful.
walk.
Hi,
That's right.
I'm here. Can I ask you a
Go
question?
ahead.
You had the Posh Fashion Show,
Right.
and you did it as a charity event.
Yes. The girls got $1,000 a piece. They got so much.
$1,000.
$1,000 a
That's
piece.
it. When I go to
I'm wide open about it.
fundraisers, I mean.
Well, because I only had
more than $1,000.
I had
fundraiser that you walked away with more money than the actual
That is
people you
not
are
true.
fundraising
Exactly.
for.
What, are you my accountant?
I'm not. I'm asking a question.
That is not true.
I think she should have got more.
That's what you get after
That's it.
you have
How
to
much
pay
for
for
the
the dinners.
tickets each?
Hold on. I had to pay for the food. I had to pay for everything that was there, and then they get what's left. If you guys don't think $3,000 is enough, can't believe I'm defending myself about a fund. That's disgusting.
So if you listen to the clip, you can hear Teresa going at it with Kim D at the reunion. And she's basically saying, oh, you know what? You paid yourself. You had this fundraiser. It was supposed to be for the victims and all of that. But then you just paid yourself and the families only received $1,000. That's what Teresa said. So Kim D, if you guys recall, she was appalled, and she said, that is so disgusting, because I was trying to do something good out there, and I did, and I know these families, and I'm not like a millionaire, right? I'm not rich. So she's like, I was trying to do something good. I have to pay for the food. I have to pay for the DJ. I have to pay for the venue. So yeah, I have to make sure that these things are covered, and then whatever's left is going to go to the families. So that was basically Kim D's rationale when it comes to that, right? And Teresa at the time didn't seem to think that that was good enough, because to her it was Kim should have just gave everything to the families. So what Jennifer is doing right now at this point, I feel like she really took a page out of Teresa's book. And I thought it was tacky back then to say that to Kim D. So I'm going to say that I still think that it is tacky now to say that to Danielle. Okay, so now we have the Tipsy in Tulum party, and it's at Teresa and Louis' house. And, well, I should say Louis' house at this point, based on what came out in on social media. So I'm gonna have to say Teresa looked absolutely beautiful. Love her hair, very original. I thought she looked very pretty at her party. So that being said, we have this scene where Gia's doing her makeup on the kitchen counter. And one thing I wanted to say, guys, because I did not address this the last episode, but Gia said that she was thinking of moving out, or she was going to move out with her boyfriend, Christian. To which Louis seemed to have a little bit of a weird reaction to. Honestly, like if you really look at his face, he seemed a little bit surprised. And I'm not going to say uncomfortable, but he seemed a little pensive at the idea of Gia leaving the nest. So I'm just throwing this question out there for you guys, because I was under the impression that it would have happened already. But last I checked, Gia still lives at home with her mother and Louis. So I know that Christian works with Louis. I'm not sure if Gia works with Louis as well, but the last I checked, Gia is still under the Teresa Giudice and Louis Ruela's household. So anyways, so Gia was doing her makeup and she was basically talking to Teresa about Jackie, and then Teresa was saying, you know what, I'm not going to be friends with her that much if she does not go after Margaret. And then Louis kind of has a little bit of a laugh, right? So the guest starts to arrive, and honestly, I was wondering, who are all of these people? Like, most of the people that show up there, never seen them before. Maybe they're all friends of Louis. I didn't really recognize any familiar faces, and usually I do, like other than the Housewives, of course, and the friends of, but seems like a lot of the guests were people that we've never seen before. So I don't know. The men, honestly, they look like they would have preferred to be at a Joe Gorga and Melissa Gorga party. I think that the men don't really enjoy spending that much time with Louis. Like, look at Evan. He didn't show up. Jackie had to go on the tail of her having like an explosive argument with Margaret and then with Dolores at the party, at the housewarming party. Her husband doesn't even want to go with her to this party, right? He's just like, oh no, you're on your own, man. You go deal with Teresa and Louis by yourself, kind of thing, right? So I don't know. I thought that was interesting. And I just find that the chemistry between the men is not the same. Bill Aydin, no matter how much they want to say that, oh, you know, like me and Louis are close. And even if Louis asked him to be in his wedding, I don't feel the closeness or the chemistry between the two. And Polly's there. Like, I think the person that looks the closest to Louis, that seemed the closest to Louis, is Polly. But everybody else is just... they're just there, right? So, and then you have Louis making like this little comment about not wearing any underwear, and I was just like, what are you, 5? Like, do you really need to say that? Whatever. Which is kind of funny, because Teresa said the exact same thing last season at her housewarming party, and then Louis is saying the same thing the following season, right? So anyways, nothing much happened during that party, but then you have... oh, yes, actually, something did happen that I want to talk to you guys about. Dolores, again, Dolores and Jackie. Jackie, honestly, she looked so pitiful when she came up, and she's like, oh, I think I'm going to talk to Dolores, and I feel so bad, and yada, yada, yada. You know, she didn't even call Dolores the next day, or she didn't go to her door and say, listen, I feel really terrible for what I did and what I wrote and all of that. But nevertheless, she decided to muster up enough energy and courage to go and address Dolores, right? Which is probably not an easy task, because Dolores was pretty closed off in that episode to Jackie. But I'm not surprised because Dolores never really liked Jackie. You could tell she always got on her nerves. And Dolores is just like, she's really down to earth. And she doesn't really speak like that. Like, oh, I have so much money. I can buy this house 10 times over and it wouldn't make a dent in my like trust fund, like, fortune kind of thing. Right? So you could tell that these types of people annoy a little bit Dolores, and I understand why. So when Jackie came and she walked to Dolores and said, oh, I'm sorry. And I don't know how I can forgive Margaret for doing what she did because, to me, that's like crossing a major line to show my text messages to you. And it's like, Jackie, I don't know what you're talking about because you did the exact same thing to Jacqueline Loretta when you gave her text message to Melissa. And mind you, like, I was all for it because it allowed Melissa to have a pretty good scene at the reunion. But that's besides the point. Like Jackie wants to act as if, oh my gosh, I'm so hurt because someone revealed my text message. Well, you did the exact same thing to Jacqueline. And that was a conversation between you and her. And she did not know that you would use that and give it to other people from the cast, right? So anyways, Jackie, she tried to apologize to Dolores, and she said, you know what, I don't know how I can move forward with this friendship with Margaret. And Dolores, I think she just ended that conversation very beautifully. She was just like, well, that's for you to figure out. And one thing that I know for sure is there's a pause in this friendship as well. And then exit to the left. She's like, stay by yourself, alone with your cries. Like, I really don't care. I don't like the fact that you called me a slob and you said you hated me. Can't take it back. The toothpaste is out of the tube. You can't put it back, right? So I thought that was a really good scene. And see, that seems authentic to me, what Dolores did. It's like the normal reaction when someone says this is not to just be like, oh, okay, that's fine, let's be friends again. Like Dolores was just like, you know what, you made an idiot out of yourself. You revealed yourself last night and now I'm good. I'm good on you. I got your number. I really want nothing to do with you. And chances are we're not going to see you again because, you're not coming back. You don't have a real solid crew. You don't have friends. Teresa's not really your friend like that. You're about to find out and now you're going to be left alone. Bye. That's basically what Dolores did, right? So then you have Danielle and she arrives with her husband and Nate. And I have to say, I like Nate a lot. And you guys know that if you've been following this podcast ever since I've met him. Very, very, very nice guy. A true gentleman. And he has a lot of love for Danielle. Like, seriously. The way he talks about her and let her do her thing. I was actually surprised to see how much she stepped up last night. But you could tell he's very, very defensive of her. And, just to end it on that, guys, I feel like if you really look at Danielle's face while Jennifer is saying those things to her and she says, oh, yeah, I was kind of mad about this, but there's another reason, you could truly tell that Danielle has absolutely no idea what Jennifer is talking about. No idea. And then when Jennifer says, well, you were trying to dog your friend and trying to make it look like, hey, I don't want my friend to make money. You could tell that was just a bunch of bull. Even Teresa was like standing right there. And Teresa seemed completely confused with Jenn in that instance. Like, seriously? She was standing there and she was looking at her and she was like, what is she talking about, right? And you could tell that Jenn was not being truthful and she was not telling the truth. And Danielle was completely shocked, completely surprised. And the reaction that she had was so primal that she has to be she has to be true. She has to be right. She has to be telling the truth, because sometimes when a person reacts like this, it's because it comes from hurt. You're just like, I can't believe that you're the type of person that would take this information and try to twist it in a way to make me look bad, right? So the reaction that Danielle had to me felt really authentic, and I felt bad for her in that instance because Jennifer can play dirty. She has come on the show, and she has been dirty ever since she joined Housewives. So I wouldn't be surprised if Danielle was the one telling the truth and Jennifer was the one lying in that instance. And for, I understand that Danielle was upset and she kind of got in Jennifer's space a little bit and she was yelling, obviously. But, I could have understood if Jennifer just put her hand up and just kind of created a block between her and Danielle and be like, yo, you better step back because now you're in my space. But she didn't really give her a warning. She just pushed her, on her clavicles. And it was very aggressive. And I was just like, I swear to God, guys, I had to pick up my jaw from the floor last night. And I couldn't believe what I had just noticed. I never seen something like this in the history of reality TV. What Jennifer did, the way she pushed Danielle, it was so violent, so aggressive, so unnecessary, right? And I did not know that Danielle had such quick reflexes and was about to do that. Like, honestly, guys, I did not know that Danielle was about to do that. Obviously, I'd heard, just like everybody else, that Danielle threw a pitcher and then it was a glass and it was a pitcher again, some sort of object, and hit Jennifer. But it was never disclosed that Jennifer pushed Danielle first, right? I think that was a little bit of a first for everyone. So I don't even know where the pitcher or the glass came from. All I saw was Jenn pushed very aggressively Danielle, and Danielle was not having it. The Staten Island came out and she just hit Jennifer upside her head. And you could tell, no matter what Jennifer said after that, when she said, "Ew, it tastes good, come on, baby," that kind of stuff, like trying to make it look like it did not affect her. Jennifer was quite embarrassed. You could tell. She was almost about to cry. You could see it in her face. And I can't remember who, I think it was Dolores. Dolores said something like, "Oh, Jennifer's not going to cry about this, like she's above it all." And she's like, no, I'm not going to cry about this. Lie. The first thing Jennifer probably did, as soon as she was safe and not like with the ladies and everybody else, and she was in the car with Bill, I bet you the first thing she did is that she started crying from her gut, because that was embarrassing. Really. You know what? She thought that Danielle was not going to do anything. She thought that it was one of those moments that, Jennifer has had a lot of these moments. Her first season, she broke the glass in Cabral, and she's like, oh, if I wanted to do this, I would have done that. And Dolores got really mad at her, and Melissa got really mad at her, because they're like, girl, you don't know, eh? Where we're from, if you do that, it's on. So don't do that. You're going to get your ass kicked, right? And then she threw the knife at Melissa and the plate and all of that. And then the following season at the shore, she grabbed Melissa's hand, and then Melissa almost got physical with her. Jenn had it coming for a long time. And you know what? She banks a lot on people just backing down, She doesn't expect for people to step up to her. She thinks that most people will just be like, you know what, I'm going to be the bigger person and I'm going to disengage, which is really the proper response, guys. But not everyone is like that. And there is one instance where I think that, it's hard to defend someone when you are the first one to put your hands on that person. If you're the first one to do that, then, it's getting hard to defend you, Jenn. And again, you're in the wrong. So I think she wasn't expecting for Danielle to react in that way. And she was pretty embarrassed. And you could tell that she was on the verge of crying. And when you have that other girl, like that friend of Tiffany, she was talking to Teresa. And she said, okay, well, she pushed her. So of course, if someone would have pushed me, I would have grabbed my drink too, right? What about you, Teresa? And Teresa cannot lie in that instance, because we have seen her over and over again act in that way. Like, mind you, nobody has ever pushed Teresa. Teresa just throws a tantrum or a table, right? But Teresa had to admit to that and be like, oh yeah, if you touch me, it's on. So I don't know. Like the next following week, we're probably going to see Jenn tell Teresa that she feels that Teresa didn't really have her back. And she really didn't. She walked Danielle out the door, and you could tell that she felt really bad for Danielle. And, you know, when you're looking at the actual scene when Jenn pushed Danielle, Teresa looked away for a brief second, and it really happened really quickly. So I believe Teresa when she said, I didn't even see her push her. All I saw was Danielle kind of like hit her on the head, right? But, you know, Dolores said, hey, did you push her? Did you push her? And then Jennifer was trying to downplay it and said, I don't know, it happened so quickly. But yeah, maybe I did push her because she was in my space. And then you see Dolores's face. She's like, you know what? You're gonna learn, girl. You're gonna learn, because there's this saying. They say, if, like, you know, Caribbean people say that a lot, right? They say, if you want hear, you must feel. And Jennifer is just one of those people that have to learn. She has to learn the hard way. And she won't listen to anyone. She thinks that it's okay to say irresponsible things with your mouth. And then she thinks it's okay to just throw things at people or put your hands on people. Well, one day you're going to find out. And I feel like Jennifer found out last night. And I think it might be probably the last time that Jennifer ever does something like that. But guys, one thing that I have to say is when Danielle said what she said to Bill Aydin, like all the men were inside, and she said, you are sleeping with the devil. Bill did not even say one thing. He just looked at Danielle like, honestly, girl, Bill looks so checked out. He seems like, I don't know, something is off with Bill this year a little bit. Even when he's like listening to his wife rant and all of that, he seems just very, very tired and checked out. So I don't know. When Danielle said that and said, you're sleeping with the devil, just know when you go to bed at night, you're sleeping with the devil, Bill said nothing. And it's almost as if he was like, yeah, I know. Anyways, guys, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to head over at housewivesrelatable.substack.com. And as always, be a fan, not fanatical. Ciao.